What's up everyone? Today I'm going to go through a series on the long game where we look at businesses around the world that have been in existence for ages in the hopes that you realize long-term thinking, long-term business decisioning is the way to go. So today's business is Kohler Co. and it's in the US and it started back in 1873. Now, whether you sit on your toilet and look at all the taps and look at all the fixtures, but surely somewhere in the hotel or somewhere you would have seen this name because they've been making toilets and tapwares and shower fittings and bathroom accessories for 152 years. But it started through cattle troughs. So Kohler is the world's leading manufacturer of kitchen and bath products, but the company expanded well beyond plumbing. They own now a whole bunch of things. So they've taken their business and started to just spin off investment assets into golf courses, into hospitality resorts, or in an area where they know that fixtures, fittings, plumbing can really play a part in quality. They've gone into the hospitality and hotel scene, backed off the core revenue generator of their plumbing and shower fitting business. But the most exciting part, let's take you back. In the 1870s, in Wisconsin, an Austrian immigrant named Michael Kohler bought a small iron foundry from his father-in-law, and it was used to make cattle troughs, what they eat in, and they found it to be usefully unremarkable. It was the basic thing that did them well. And after a little while of building these cast iron cattle troughs, they realized these can be sold as a bathtub. So expanding that single product where you put water and you put feed in for cattle, hold on, I can sell it to every household in America. And that was the beginning of one of America's greatest family stories built around bathtubs and plumbing products. So over the journey, John Michael died and his son Walter took over. And Walter spent 50 years working in his father's business to make it a global luxury brand. So not just the taps that maybe I have, but the taps that the rich of the rich have. And they refused to go public. Instead, they did dilute their shares over the journey from the research that we have. In 1998, so 100 years later, they bought back all the shares. So private equity didn't come in and try and list it or anything like that. They maybe released shares out to get a bit of capital. And then in 1998, almost 120 years later, they bought back all the shares to ensure the family would have control. So let's talk about the lovely founder, John Michael Kohler. He was an Austrian metal worker and arrived in America with nothing. And his sole focus was to take over the generation of the business and ensure his family would have a fruitful life. So just like many business stories out there, me included, the business is a passion that I have to maybe fulfill a destiny for my long-term family. His son was the key. So Herbert took over the business in 1939 and he was obsessed. He took the vision of almost what we talk about Apple today, but down to plumbing. It was all about making things beautiful. But he worked in the business all the way until his fourth son took over, and he's still the president today, and the family owns every single share. So, start 100 years ago. How big can you make a company in 100 years? $9 billion revenue big, 40,000 employees, 48 manufacturing plants, 152 years of success, and not a single, not one publicly traded share. If you last a long time, you can have a fruitful life. You can teach a lot to your kids, which I've got 2 sons that I want to do. And the long game is the best game.